I never really spoke about what brought yoga into my life, not in its depths. For a long time, I didn't even understand it myself. It was something I was slowly moving towards without knowing. And it started much earlier than I thought. When I was a boy, I remember hearing things about my body, that I was skinny, that I looked like a long stick. Simple sentences, casual comments, but something in me kept them. Not loudly, but deeply. And over time, they started shaping how I saw myself. I began to feel like I wasn't enough as I was, quietly, constantly, without being able to explain it. At 17, I started training, gym, weightlifting, discipline. On the surface, it looked like improvement, and in many ways, it was. But underneath, the intention was different. It wasn't just about health, it was about fixing something, about proving something, about becoming someone who would finally be accepted. I trained for years, progressively, relentlessly. I learned discipline, structure, performance. I learned how to push further than I thought I could. From the outside, I was building myself. But inside, I was slowly disconnecting. I was feeding my body while starving something else. Something quieter, something deeper. And no matter how much I progressed, it never felt like enough. There was always a gap between who I was and who I thought I needed to become. Then I moved to New York, a city of speed, noise, concrete. At the time, I didn't realize how disconnected I had become. From nature, from slowness, from myself. And slowly, my body started to break. Injuries built up over time until everything changed. A double hernia in my spine and a sciatic nerve inflammation so intense I could barely move. Standing up became difficult. Even simple movements took effort. Putting on socks took minutes, and for the first time, I couldn't escape my body anymore. I remember feeling trapped inside it, but also strangely awake. Like everything I had been ignoring for years was now impossible to avoid. and I felt something else. A deep exhaustion, not just physical, but something closer to emptiness. Like I was starving, not for food, but for air, for nature, for space, for life. One day, a friend invited me to a yoga class. At the time, I thought it was just stretching. He told me, "You'll still work your body, but it will feel lighter." That word stayed with me. Lighter. I don't remember every posture from that first class, but I remember the feeling. Being guided by a woman whose presence felt completely different. Calm, grounded, present. And something shifted, not dramatically, but quietly. It felt like I was meeting my body for the first time, not as something to control, but as something to listen to, something already alive. I stopped weightlifting and slowly I moved into yoga. At first, it was still physical, but underneath, something else was happening. The voice that constantly pushed me started to fade. The one that measured, compared, judged. And another voice began to appear. Quieter, clearer, more honest. And I started to realize something I had never seen before. I wasn't just training my body. I was trying to become enough. Eventually, I left New York and went to India, not with answers, but with questions. Yoga had become something much more than movement. It had become a doorway into something I didn't yet understand. In India, I learned yoga differently, not as performance, but as observation. Observation of the body, the breath, and the mind. And slowly, something opened. Emotions I had held for years began to surface. Not violently, but honestly, naturally. It took years to rebuild my body, and even more to rebuild my inner space. And I am still in that process, still evolving, still learning. But today, yoga is no longer a physical practice for me. It is something much quieter, an art of bringing awareness into the body, into the breath, into the mind, and into everything that exists. Looking back, it was never really about becoming someone else. It was about coming back to something that was always there, just forgotten.